Hi guys, it's the Page Turners with Noreen here, and I'm here to do a book review on Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. So the synopsis of this book, it's obviously a dystopian world, and it's based heavily on Russian traditional culture and history. The main girl, Alina, and her best friend Mal, they've been orphans, and they live in this place called Ravka. It's been torn into two, and it's threatened by the Shadowfold, which is this darkness just come and feed on human flesh. Lena's never been good at anything, but when her regiment and herself and her best friend are attacked in the Shadowfold, and when her best friend is about to be killed by these creatures, she releases this dormant power. It not only saves her best friend's life, but could also be the key to releasing the war-torn Ravka from its darkness and troubles. So she's whisked away in this royal palace to be trained as a member of a geisha, which is a magical elite, and under the authority of the Darkling. However, not everything is as pleasant and as blissful as it seems, and there's this terrible dark secret that she finds out. She also has to overcome her desires and what she really wants in her heart. It was absolutely brilliant. It reminded me a lot about Shatter by Tahira, but in ways that this was different is the way it was written. First, I'd like to say that Leigh has a brilliant writing skills. She's very descriptive, and she's not overboard with a description where you're drowned with a lot of figurative language. It's kept in a balance with the story, and it creates a very vivid and imaginary palace that you can actually see yourself in. And what I really liked about this is that she used elements of Russian culture and history, which made it really good and really authentic. In terms of character, I really liked Alina. She's like all the normal characters that you read in a lot of YA books. Like, she's not good at anything, she's not pretty, she's plain, you know, she's very scrawny and skinny, but once she finds out her real power, and once she finds out her destiny, she kind of grows into herself, and she overcomes all these hurdles, and she comes into terms with the power that she's holding. But the power that she does have is this brightness, this kind of huge light, and this huge light could bring the Ravka out of the darkness, as it's kind of this huge light which is needed in order to overcome the Shadowfold, which is plunged in darkness. The creatures who live in the Shadowfold are scared of lightness, so her brightness is much needed. She's really, by the end of the book, she becomes really strong-willed. She's very generous as well, and she's got really kind-hearted. Another character, Mal, her best friend, I was torn because in all YA books, love triangle, and the love triangle is between her best friend Mal and the Darkling. Her best friend Mal, they've been brought up together as orphans. He didn't really notice her, just as he didn't really consider her anything else other than a friend. Well, whilst she had this childhood crush on him for a very long time. However, when she's whisked away in the palace, then he comes to realise, oh, she's the girl that I've been, no, she's a girl, and I've been blind, I haven't seen, this is the girl that I want in my life, and I love her. He's a really funny guy at the beginning, but however towards the middle and the end of the book, he becomes really serious, and we show a very more compassionate side to him, and him and Alina share so much history that you're kind of torn whether or not they should be together, and he's such a good guy as well. But one thing that I really can't comment on is that he wasn't, throughout the most of the book, he wasn't really in the books. That's why I really can't say much about his character, but in the second book, definitely he's going to be a much more prominent figure. The other character, Darkling, he is kind of like the baddie, the villain. He's like the Warner in Shatter Me. He's really extremely hot, and him and Alina share quite a passionate kiss in the book. He's a very powerful guy. Everyone's scared of him, and he's the one who holds the kind of the secret, which I'm not going to tell a lot about. We'll spoil for those who haven't read it, but I really like him, even though he's so evil. I mean, what is wrong with me? Even though he's really evil and he does really terrible things, especially towards the end, I really want him and Alina to be together. I mean, we can see that he does like her, even though he does kind of have this evil side to him. He does truly like her, and there are instances where he does get jealous whenever she mentions Mal's name. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. He is the villain though. He's the villain in the book. But we're all such a sucker for going on for bad boy guys. But yeah, I mean, he's described really, really good looking as well, kind of black hair and grey eyes, but I think it's grey eyes, grey people. In terms of the story, I thought it was really, really good. Again, it's kind of like Shatter Me, where she has this power that can save Ravkar, and the Darkling wants to use that for his own kind of selfish reasons, even though he didn't really reveal this in the beginning of the book, and she's like kind of chooses the right path at the end. It was kind of fast paced at times when it needed to, slow paced when it needed to. It was a right balance. The romance was brilliant. Storyline itself was really good. There was a lot of action scenes. As you know, I'm kind of a girl who needs some sort of action in the book, and there was plenty of that, especially with kind of magical elements that was used. This book is based on a very magical surrounding and background, and these people do have magic. And the two different sides as well. In the beginning it was kind of dark and gloomy, and you see what the poor people are suffering in Ravka itself, and when she moves into the Royal Palace, these powerful people who are supposed to be fighting for their poor citizens and their population aren't really, they're really, really selfish. You see kind of two different sides, and what I found really interesting is that the food that they eat, it's similar to the food that the poor people eat, because they're trying to making themselves feel like, oh yeah, we do share the suffering and the experiences as our poor people, but not really, because they do wear really kind of glamorous, over exaggerated clothes and jewellery. They live in this huge kind of glass palace, and they've got pretty much everything at their will. So yeah, that was my review on Shadow and Bone. 4.5 out of 5 stars. One thing that I didn't make it giving it to a 5 is actually I don't know why. There was, even though I really like this book, there was, to me, it was kind of lacking a bit, just a bit of the oomph that I needed. I don't know how to explain it, but although this book was brilliant, definitely one of the top books I've read so far, it just needed a little bit of something, and I'm not quite sure, but yeah. So that was my review on Shadow and Bone. I'll see you soon. Bye.